let's go into this Shadeur shit. I got a question. How do we feel about Shadeur and this draft shit? I know he just got drafted 144th in the 5th round to the Browns. W's for that. But I do gotta ask, how do we feel about it? Do we feel like, who's to blame for this? Because at the end of the day, I feel like we still gotta be a realist. He was projected to go, for most people, in the top 20 for sure in the 1st round. Didn't happen. And it obviously was blatant avoidance of drafting him in rounds 2, 3, 4, and up until 5. Talent-wise, my opinion is he deserved to be drafted as one of the first quarterbacks in the draft. I'm not a huge college football fan, but I feel like from what I've seen of Shadeur and highlights and his stat line and his numbers and percentages for the 4 years, or the last 2 years, I think specifically, he deserved to be drafted very high. Now, part of me is like, I know what it is, obviously being Dion coming attached to Shadeur, and like teams wondering, is he going to be overstepping on the coaches, if he's going to always be chiming in, the pressures of having Dion's son on the team. Like, I can understand the Dion approach to it. But there's one call King for what? He told me to. There is one point to that other than Dion that I feel like is a big thing. Now I'm always one to speak highly on yourself, and always big yourself up. Y'all know how I am. But there is a level of humility that I believe somebody and everybody should have that have been blessed by God with arts and talents, that there is a way to be confident, slightly cocky, without it coming across and rubbing people the wrong way to a certain extent. And I feel like where Shadeur went wrong is his approach to this fame and celebrity that he has is very braggadocious. Everything in his approach, from his celebration to how he looks to how he talks to how he portrays, and this is coming from somebody, again, respectfully. I was around the Sanders brothers 15 years ago briefly. They were super young. But Deion Sanders Jr., Lil Deion, the one that's older than all of them, we used to be cool with him. So we would be around and seen him a couple times and whatnot. The lifestyle that they grew up in was very provoked by their father's influence, of course, respectfully. But there is a certain way until you've proven yourself. What? Read the chat. What? He talking about me? All right, hold on. Damn, I was on a good tangent, bro. Hold on. Let me land, bro, because I'm not going to come back to this. I feel like Shadeur kind of was detrimental to himself in a way, to the point where his attitude and the way he carried himself and some of the things he said was very arrogant, more so than just confident in my abilities. A lot of the things he said were very over-the-top braggadocious, and I feel like his persona coming into the NFL without having proven anything other than being Deion's son, proven anything in an NFL, that his attitude was pretty detrimental to his reason why he was drafted late. I feel like he was partially detrimental to his own pick timing and when he was picked up. You know what I'm saying? And things like this. I remembered this clip and it made me pull it back up by just what he said. Not only his image, the diamonds, the whole look, he's his dad in the flesh. He's pulling up, and the way he talk, it's just different, man. I've seen people that are cocky. I've seen people who have humility with their cockiness, but you see very few people who are arrogant. And again, I don't mean this disrespectfully, you know what I'm saying, like at all, to him or his family. I know DeAndre, I know Lil Dion. I don't really know them, but you know, respectfully, I'm not trying to do it that way. But there is a line of where you draw it of, humble, cocky, arrogant, like this boy arrogant. But again, I can't tell a man how to be, especially when you feel how talented you are and how good you are at what you're doing. But you know, this was crazy.
The culture don't get me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over, and I've done it over and over and over, so it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people gotta say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like, it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like diversity, we like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are. If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the culture,
don't get me. So, bruh, that's crazy, bruh. That's crazy to me. He flat out told you, if you're not trying to change the franchise and the culture, don't get me. It pretty much, change the franchise is one thing, and change the culture to fit around the culture that he's bringing is just crazy to say when you're trying to get drafted. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of underlying racism in this as well. You'd be naive to think there wasn't. But to put extra fuel on that fire of them already knowing you Deion's son, and then already knowing you a young black flashy nigga who raps and who's like has that lifestyle and does all this, and what comes with that, they were like, fuck no, nigga. We don't care who you go to, because if you don't go in the first round, you're gonna come off the bench. This is what the owners are thinking. So they like, fuck no, we not even taking a chance on you, because you come in, we waste one of our draft picks, and God forbid you a headache, or you think you bigger than the program per se, and then you not happy because whatever with the coaches, and then your dad get involved, and then it's a whole headache and news media coverage. I can understand why teams wouldn't really want to take that chance. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like, why add fuel to that fire when you talking like this? That's to me is crazy. But again, he landed on a team. He got his money backs. And he respectfully got his spot on his team, the Cleveland Browns. I'm sure he's excited to just be in the NFL, of course, as he should be. But I also feel like this probably has humbled him a little bit. I would feel like, I know he's a man of God from what he portrays. I know his father's Superman of God. His mom, Pilar. You know, I feel like he's a good person, but I feel like this is gonna probably give him some more humility of like, damn, over them couple of days, he was probably like, damn, did I know he was confident from the outside, but on the inside, I know as a man, a young man, he was probably like, damn, did I just fuck up? Did I do something? Like, I know it wasn't my performance. Are they just, but on the outside, I know he's at the same time like, nah, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I know I performed. They just trying to do some fucked up shit. Granted, they were. But do we give any responsibility to this man for his actions in this? And I think that was my biggest thing. I felt like I didn't want to be the person who's always PC and politically correct and along the lines of everybody taking the side of, oh, man, this is so fucked up. They doing him like this. Yes, I can see it that way. But at the same time, I can still not be naive and think he wasn't irresponsible in any of his own doing. It isn't just because he's Deion Sanders' son. That's not the only reason. There's way more. It's not just because he's black. They draft black quarterbacks at number 1, number 2 all the time. So we can't claim racism. Like, let's just be honest. I don't know if I just dropped a gem there, but like, these labels will pick a black quarterback or a black athlete, number 1, number 2. We just seen his counterpart get drafted to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's like these teams will draft, these white teams will draft black athletes, black quarterbacks. So we're not going to sit here and just act like it's all based off of racism, that he didn't get drafted. Oh, he's black. No, it's the aura is, oh, he's Deion Sanders' son. No, that's not the only reason. So I'm not going to get on here and just be super PC. Like I said, I have respect to this family, know this family. I doubt, this may never reach that far. But if it did, it's not malicious. But I'm just, from the outside looking in, this is just somebody who feels like I can see it both ways. Yeah, there was some racial undertones. There was some prejudice undertones or judgmental undertones about how they feel about you and your actions and how you speak. Yeah, for sure. But I gotta be just I gotta be righteous to me and be like, all right, I gotta see the other side of it. It's not just because you Deion Sanders' son. That would be like a blessing to a team. Like, think about it. Think about it, y'all. You got somebody with this much talent. You got somebody who's Deion Sanders' son, who you know what comes with that light attention to your team, jersey sales, ticket sales, hype behind who's there, everything comes with it. What team wouldn't want that? The average team is gonna want a dope quarterback, talented, quarterback, who can come in and produce probably right off the rip, that comes as Deion Sanders' son. It's not about him being Deion Sanders' son or just being black. This has to also do with his actions. Supposedly, I seen a report, I don't know how accurate it was, that said he supposedly like blew off, or not blew off, he showed up, but he like just didn't care to do too much extra or impress in the interviews with the teams he didn't want to go to. So it's like, if you go into these interviews with teams, there's 32 teams, you go into these interviews, you only want to go to potentially 5 of them just based off of whoever your willingness to play for or contend or whatever, and you blow off the other 27 teams in the interview as far as like don't give it that much attention, or like not be polite, or not be like, like you really want to be there, then he blew those off. That's more responsibility on him. His actions, if you're not trying to change the franchise and the culture, don't get me. It's like, it should never come across like that. So that's why I said this situation will humble him a little bit. And I mean that again respectfully. It's not saying that he's not a good, doesn't have humility, but in this sense, his arrogance costed him a lot of money and a top first round draft pick and probably a starting seat. He's now going to have to come off the bench and earn it more now. And it's like, that's got to be a hard pill to swallow. You know what I mean? That you're that talented, and just your attitude and actions and persona is the reason why you didn't really get that higher draft pick. Because like I said, we just broke it down essentially. The hype and the attention that comes from being Deion Sanders' son is amazing for a team. I don't understand why no team or franchise wouldn't want that. I mean, unless you're thinking like, oh, Deion may be interjecting into what we're doing or trying to have an input, then maybe. But just off the strength of the name alone, having Deion Sanders' son on your team was a benefit to the organization. And there's a lot of teams that need a quarterback. So it wasn't because of that. And it wasn't because he's black, because they drafted Jackson for the number 1 black quarterbacks all the time. So we got to take some responsibility on this young man respectfully, and just hopefully that it builds some character and builds some humility as far as just how he carries himself. Because I know after he got the Browns thing, he was happy, and he said, I want to thank the team organization for giving me a chance. But I feel like there's going to come some more humility in this, where he gets on that field and realizes like, damn, I could have not even got drafted at all type shit. So, it's a building. I think this would probably be a building thing for him. A way to build as a man and just build character to himself. You know what I'm saying?
Activities that we have planned.